we are going to be seeing Xavier banning first.
Now, we did see a bit of the banning Monty yesterday, although I think there might be a small issue with starting sides here. And I believe...
Nope, they're fine.
Nope.
They're fine, but this ban coming in from Xavier very, very slowly. And, well, they're going to ban out a Blackbeard off the board first. Obviously scared of what Rizraz showed yesterday on it.
Yeah, so, you know, we were talking about this as well, weren't we? That, you know, Fnatic have traditionally had aces on the Blackbeard with, you know, the current lineup for the squad. So it was very interesting to see Riz playing that instead. But, you know, we're not even going to have that in the discussion, seeing as it's banned on out and then followed up by Lion.
Yeah, Lion, I don't think we're really surprised. 100% ban rate from yesterday. It was let through the first series today.
Yeah, it was.
And, you know, back to being banned again.
Yeah, and then followed up by a Clash, of course. Still a bit finicky on how to deal with her, aren't we? Like, I believe there's a few proposed changes to how she's going to operate, with taking longer to switch to her secondary, or I suppose her main weapon if you don't really count the shield as such. But, yeah, it just looks like teams really want to avoid just dealing with her, don't they?
Yeah, and Fnatic, that's been a staple ban for them throughout the regular season as well. So there's something that they're not really comfortable in dealing with at all on defense.
And then final ban here for Xavier will be Valkyrie. So we know of those cameras getting on outside. I know Magnet has been able to tear things up on Valkyrie in the past, so I don't think it's really much of a targeted ban towards a player, more of just a targeted ban in the fact that, you know, they don't really have to want to worry about the cameras outside. And I'm pretty sure yesterday that was their defensive ban on Coastline as well.
It certainly was, you were right. So I think, I don't believe it's targeted either. I do agree with that. I just don't think that Xavier are comfortable dealing with Valkyrie. I don't think they're not comfortable with, I don't think they want to deal with Valkyrie, right? They don't want to waste the time looking for the cameras.
Yeah, so interesting discussion that, you know, we saw in the interview that we saw for Xavier coming into this, saying that the way that they were managed to beat Aerowolfing, take out that first seed and also beat him in the regular season, is that they focus so much on counter-stratting. So, but yesterday it looked like they were just focusing on their own game, as we do have some interesting 6th picks coming in, Xavier and a Twitch.
Yeah, the Twitch being 6th picked is interesting, because if there is a mirror, which, you know, there is,
yes,
they can easily pick that up.
Yeah, that was the point I was also thinking about making. Of course, we've had Mirror make its way through the ban phase. Not so common these days, of course, but Coastline, it's a map that does well with a Mirror, in my opinion.
It certainly is. She is incredible on this, both on the penthouse and in this kitchen site as well, which is what they're on now. So I think Mirror can be used to great effectiveness to just shut down anything coming from this east side service entrance. Yeah,
so as for these operator lineups across the board, as for that Xavier pick, we saw it yesterday from Producer Beam. We got 2 interrogations in 1 round.
It was on this map too.
Yeah, and they lost the round.
Yeah, and they lost the round because the aggression that came out of Xavier was shut down at that point.
Shut down immediately, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Fnatic will be able to shut down any aggression that comes out of the interrogation as well. So I have to think that maybe they're going to use it more as a information gathering tool rather than trying to get the frags off it. If you just, you know, get the interrogation, see where everyone is, and just, you know, reallocate your resources back to where you think you're going to need them.
Yeah, but it kind of does make that panic set into the attackers, of course. Like, it is rather effective in that way. Like, once an interrogation comes off, everyone's running for the hills, running outside and trying to stay safe. Yeah, exactly. They don't want to be caught out. And currently sitting down in the security room, he's got the Spaz 15 as well. That shotgun coming really prevalent. We're not seeing any of the nail gun at all. You know, I never thought I'd be talking on a Pro League broadcast about the viability of Xavier, but Producer Boom definitely did make some interesting decisions with it yesterday that, you know, you can't really say, oh, it's a bad idea when it works. Yeah, exactly, right? You know, well, did it work? That's what we have to discuss about, because ultimately it failed, but he got 2 kills on him, but the rest, it cost him the rest of his team. Yeah, but is that the fact that the fail there, though, is that his team couldn't capitalize on it. The fact that he got the interrogations is a success there. True, but if you do something and it leads to a loss, is that a success? Well, I don't know. Yeah, probably. But either way, we're into this round. A minute and a half gone down, and we can discuss the semantics of this later. As it seems like Fnatic have taken control of the top floor, and they've been allowed to do so. No denial, really, coming from Xavier, from Xavier on top.
Yeah, no, not at all. At the moment, it just seems like, Red Sun, he's trying to find him. He's tagged Magnet a little bit, but not an awful lot. But Magnet finds him through the floor with a clean headshot and puts the first kill on the board for Fnatic.
Yes, 2 minutes into the round, and that's the first kill coming on out. Also the first engagement as well. Xavier doing this very passive style that we saw to so great effect yesterday. Oh, Healthcare almost getting a wall bang on, but he's going to see the player inside before he's going to get down behind the Sunrise bar. This has not been a great start here for Xavier.
No, it hasn't. Healthcare will go down. Rizraz will get the kill credit for that. He was dead to rights. No one was going to be able to pick him up there. And now with Fnatic in charge of the bars, they can push their way in through to this kitchen.
Yeah, I think this might be a good round here as Xavier, they're locked out of the plant space. And, you know, nothing to really deny Fnatic from getting this one off.
No.
But Lusty's decided, no, I don't want to. Oh, bombs in kitchen.
There's
Why are
a
you
mirror
tricking me?
right there. Race has finally realizes, takes out Hamadjay, but Hajime, sorry, but it manages to catch you by surprise. I think he probably might have had it. As Lycolis is getting pushed from a couple of different places. Rizraz gets the kill credit onto Producer Boom. Lycolis tries to go for the plant denial, but Aces shuts him down.
You had me so tricked talking about the bar. I thought the bomb was in there. But no, it was kitchen. And in the end, that was a flawless from Fnatic, wasn't it?
It certainly was. They didn't lose a single member. Managed to cover off their flanks extremely well there.
Yes.
They even managed to protect the plant as it tried to get denied, but not to be.
So there's that passive style getting completely picked apart, wasn't it? Like, Fnatic were, I don't want to say they were passive back, but they were like passive in the right amounts of ways to cause Xavier have to make a reaction to what ground they'd taken.
Yeah, well, you can't be 100% passive, right?
No.
So you have anytime you go for a kill, anytime you take a couple of shots, that's aggression within the game. So you have to know when to be aggressive and when to be passive. You have to find a mix between the two. You can't go full irons and just be 100% aggressive all the time because, your team doesn't end up sticking around for that long. And, you can't be 100% passive or else you never take any chances and you don't win.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you just give up the bomb site and fall all the way away? Like, it's not how the game works. You have to take some of these fights, as we are going to go to the theater and penthouse to kick things off in this second round.
Yeah, I like this move. They got just picked apart on this kitchen, so Xavier going to move around to something they might feel particularly more comfortable on. We saw them yesterday start off on the more default, should we say ranked default sites of the top floor rather than the Pro League defaults of the bottom floor. They seem to have tried to adapt today. It hasn't worked, so they're going to go back to what they know.
And might I just point out that we saw highlighted right there the difference between a team like Fnatic and Mantis, where Fnatic were not taking one-on-one gunfights like Mantis were and losing them. It was them peaking together, taking the two-on-ones. Like, there was only the one-on-one gunfight, which was what Magnet took at the start of the round through the floor, which he won. So, yeah, it's just showing the difference there between Fnatic and Mantis.
Yeah, and putting that out, arguably, it's easier to shoot down than it is to shoot up.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So you can absolutely say that Magnet had an advantage in that gunfight as well.
Yeah, favoured gunfight there.
Fnatic always putting themselves into that favoured advantage.
Yeah, just super simple stuff, isn't it? Although that is also how Xavier like to play as well. Like, they will take these two-on-ones nicely, but it seemed to be more of an attack kind of setup, whereas their defense was very passive. So, I'm expecting to see a very different team over on attack. You're not agreeing with me there?
No, absolutely, I am. I think that Xavier doing really simple strats for their defense is their playstyle, right? It's how they go along. They don't show anything too flashy. They don't do anything too out there or extreme. They're not going for spawn peaks. They're not doing runouts. They're not jumping around. They simply just sit in their standard places. They all have their spots. They know what they're doing. Ooh. And look, that's a down onto that's Magnet upstairs, but Rizraz comes and saves his teammate, and Lycolis gets taken out. Healthcare going to put a couple of shots into Lycolis just to make sure he's dead. And going to go back to holding his pixel angle.
That is one of the tightest ones I've seen with a deployable shield, but I think they're aware of Red Sun's position. In fact, Rizraz is going to find the frag as Magnet has been revived, putting us into a 3-on-5 right now. Fnatic once again looking large and in charge in this round.
They certainly are. Magnet has been revived as well on that roof, so the shot's coming around, and we'll have to see whether or not Healthcare can pick him up. Hajime now going to be the one to defend this B site pretty much by himself, and Producer Boom is still downstairs.
Yeah, the thing is, though, he doesn't have a C4. Normally, you'd expect a player with a C4 to be the one to try and play below, but no.
He should have impact.
Yeah, he has impact, so he can open up and shoot through, but still, you feel like a C4 would be more successful. But a minute on the clock, you know, this is once again Fnatic looking like they are, you know, in the driving seat for this round.
Yeah, they certainly are coming into this. The final minute pushing its way in. We should be able to see that X-Kairos come out and destroy that mirror, and that will essentially free up the B bomb side as well. Magnet on his drone has spotted out Producer Boom. They know exactly where he is.
Or do they?
Yes, they do.
Oh.
Magnet's going to come around, takes off his head, puts him into the grave, and now the plant is going down by aces here. Hajime picks up Rizraz as they're pushing their way in, trying to deny the plant. Pre-fires come across, they're not managing to hit anything. Healthcare still missing around. The plant has been stopped though, and that is the goal. Hajime's dropped downstairs, find it as Magnet gets taken out. The plant goes down in amongst all this, and now it's a 2 versus 3.
Yeah, it's finally some kills on the board for Xavier, but it's not going to be enough in this one. It's the 1-on-3 right now. They know exactly where Healthcare is as well, so this round is looking like done and dusted once again.
Yeah, he needs to be able to get a couple more kills, but it's not going to happen. Neophyte are going to put an end to that round, and Fnatic come up with 2 in a row.
Yeah, Rizraz looking a bit sick there, getting a few coughs on out.
Maybe the local food not really agreeing with him.
Yeah, or maybe he's just missing his fan back home.
Yeah, but either way, it doesn't really seem to be affecting him at all, and it's definitely not affecting Fnatic right now, as they're putting on a showing against Xavier.
In 2 rounds, Xavier have gotten 2 kills, and they're both from Hajime. Like, yeah, it is the strength of Fnatic showing here. Like, you take a gunfight and you're getting shot in the back by someone else. It's how Fnatic play. Yeah,
they utilize their teamwork tremendously. It's probably the biggest strength of the team, actually, I'd say. They work as a team so well, and I think that's a great... That's a credit to Dizzle as their coach, being able to bring that cohesion together as a team, because coaching doesn't get enough credit in my regard in Siege, and Dizzle is one of the premier coaches. He is the premier coach of APAC, in my opinion, and you know, I think he does one of the better jobs with his team.
Yeah, I'd have to say he's the most important element for this Fnatic team, 100%. We did see a Xavier showed, but then it was switched over to an alibi. Producer Boom, he's been that player to flex between some of those weirder operators, hasn't he?
He certainly has. He showed us a very deep pool of operators that he's prepared to bring out at this high level. But the alibi is something we discussed yesterday that we're not 100% on. We think that there's, you know, we were discussing this yesterday, that potentially there's better picks to bring.
Yeah, you know, in this case, I think, you know, part of the reason that she's come on out is for some of this soft destruction. You know, you really need to make these angles. They don't have a smoke, which I feel is a pretty big misplay trying to hold down this bomb site. Like, you're going to need those gas babes to deny plants at the kitchen service delivery. But, yeah, it's maybe that's why they've gone for the alibi, just so they do have that soft destruction there.
Yeah, I think that could be it as well, but smoke can fulfill that role, as you said. Not having that smoke, we'll have to see how that goes with the plant denial. Maybe it's because, you know, they haven't had any real success denying any plants so far, so maybe they just feel like taking plant denial isn't exactly worth it against this Fnatic squad.
It seems like that Xavier like to play what they're comfortable on rather than really focus on their defense strategies, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's certainly it. Go for those gunfights and see what they can come up. If they're comfortable, they're going to perform better.
All right. Well, looks like there is a slight issue, but no calls from the admins just yet. As Fnatic have just taken some control of the map, and Magnet's going to open things up, and Neophyter onto another one right there, putting it at a 3-on-5 man advantage once again, nice and early on.
Yeah, certainly that is how it's going to go, but Healthcare was the one who was stuck, so, you know, that could have been not really much he could have done about it, so maybe he's been taken off the board because of that. But as it stands, a 5 versus 3 to Fnatic, and they're going to be running with this right now. They just need to work out where everyone is, where the utility is, and what they can do about it, if anything, at this point. Drones coming out, drones getting shot, drones getting missed, and Xavier need to come up with something to just try and stop Fnatic really doing what they want.
Yeah, like Hollis looks like he's taking a bit of damage as well. And you know, it really looks like Xavier are just getting bullied right now. They're getting smacked around the map, and they don't have any answers for Fnatic at this point.
They really don't. Fnatic said that they were very confident coming into this semi-final, and you know, they said in the interview yesterday that they were very confident against anyone on their half of the bracket, and you know, it's showing right now, being very comfortable against Xavier right now in, you know, as Hajime loses half of his health as well.
Yeah, that was the Capital of Lusty putting down that damage. Looks like Producer Boom is going to open up a rotate out from the service entrance here. I really think that Xavier need to start getting more aggressive. They can't let Fnatic have what they want. They need to get up and in their faces.
Yeah, and the teams that have the best showing against Fnatic are the teams that stop them doing what they want. Fnatic thrive when they can get away with what they want, but when you miss shots like that, like Collis, it's not going to happen as Aces makes him pay for it. Producer Boom, though, going to find Lusty. That's the first one, but he's the only one left as Aces picks up the kill credit for Hajime and Rizraz gets Producer.
Once again, another pretty clinical round there from Fnatic, showing no mercy, just sliding on into the bomb site, finding the frags, and yeah, some unfortunate missed shots from Xavier. Like, that was dead to rights, you'd have to feel on the IQ, but no, Aces with the quick flick. Yeah,
you know, Aces should have been dead to right there, unfortunately, but, you know, the shots missed and he made him pay for it, so I really think that looking at Xavier, if you're talking to your team right now, you are saying to them, you need to stop Fnatic. Fnatic are just waltzing all over you. They're doing what they want. You really need to get up in their faces. You need to get a bit more aggressive to them. And I think we need to see an adaptation from Xavier at this point.
Yeah, I think they need to start roaming together and in pairs, making sure they can, you know, sneak on, you know, refrag those frags that come out against them, because it seems like Fnatic are winning every single gunfight that they're getting into.
Yeah, they certainly are going forward onto this, and I think Xavier, they said coming into this, they did an interview with Siege GG, and they said in that interview that they focus by counter-stratting their opponents. That's how they were finding their success, and Fnatic just seem to have the answers for that.
Yeah, they do, but, you know, as I said yesterday, like, it didn't look like they really counter-stratted Mantis. They were just, you know, playing with better teamwork and playing with the flows, so maybe Xavier have kind of gone away from this counter-strat kind of style. So, as you can see, our beautiful stage here in Tokyo, some definite interesting cultural elements. And Flea, what do you think is your favourite part about this one?
Yeah, so the stage here, my favourite is the two gods up in the top left hand and right hand corner. You know, they're in an ultimate battle. One's the god of wind, one's the god of thunder, and they're in an ultimate battle here. And I think that's a brilliant representation for the two teams.
My favourite part, I'd have to say, is how the stage is meant to represent a battleground, right? Like, each player behind them has some walls that is meant to be the fortress that they're defending from, and, you know, attacking over to the other side. So it's a definite, you know, parallel between actual R6 and also the stage.
Absolutely, and one of the great things about the walls representing castles as well is ancient Japanese castles were built to be scaled. Right, that's how they got in there. That's elements of the mythical ninja and how they got in there. We need some
fact checking on that.
So no, I'm deadly serious. Right. They literally scaled the walls to siege castles, and so, you know, having those walls behind you, I think, is a great parallel to the repelling in Siege, and that's a very unique element within Rainbow Six in general.
Okay. But as for the matchups so far, there's not really much to say, because it's one of those cases where we're seeing Xavier just get completely smacked about, and, you know, there's not so much analysis you can make on that, can you?
Yeah, no, I think when you talk about this matchup, you need to talk about what Xavier needs to do, right? I think that's how you need to approach it, and Xavier have to approach it like that. They cannot let Fnatic keep doing what they want, and essentially that's what Fnatic's doing. Fnatic is playing their own game, they're doing what they want, and they're just smacking Xavier around. Xavier need to come up with something. They need to use the time they have here to come up with a way to stop Fnatic, because at the moment, their playstyle of sitting back and just playing comfortably is not working. Fnatic will dismantle a playstyle like that.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, we saw them have such a strong showing on Coastline yesterday. Is this just because they're up against a different opponent, or is it, you know, maybe Fnatic watched the game and got some ideas here or there?
I think it's a bit of both. Fnatic are a better team than Mantis, but I think Fnatic have also come up with ways to counteract this. All right, but guys, we are going to head to a very quick break, so stay with us very shortly, and we'll see you very soon.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for waiting. Unfortunately, we're not ready to get underway with the game again just yet. To keep you updated on how things are going over in Japan, There were some technical difficulties, some sort of issues, and currently what's being discussed is as to whether or not that previous round will be replayed. At this point, we are waiting on confirmation for that, so we're going to get that to you as soon as possible. But for now, guys, since we've got some time, we might as well talk about how things have been going so far in that matchup. And, well, I guess if you're a Fnatic supporter, things have been going pretty well.
That's it, right? If you're a Fnatic supporter, things are going fantastic for you. Fnatic have lost 2 kills in 3 rounds so far.
I believe there was 1 or 2 last one, but yeah.
Yeah, like it's gone really well for Fnatic. They've just looked a cut above Xavier at this point. And, you know, we chatted a little bit between us, like what Xavier actually need to do. And the consensus was not really an awful lot can be done at this point.
Yeah, Fnatic are just showing that they are a cut above right now. They are, you know, completely bodying this Xavier roster. And, you know, it's like that Xavier are trying to take some one-on-one gunfights and, you know, they're losing them the majority of the time. And when they do win one, there's someone there for the immediate refrag. Like, this is the very first kill we saw go down. All right, it was an advantage fight there for Magnet to win.
Yeah, we've just been looking across the board, really, at Fnatic kind of steamrolling Xavier at this point on the first map. I mean, look, it is only 2 or 3 rounds into this map in particular, which is not a whole lot. But judging by what we've seen so far, especially given the fact that this is the map choice of Xavier, this is not looking like it's a good sign early on in the piece for those guys from Thailand.
No, it really isn't. And that Xavier was so strong on this map yesterday that the question was, will Fnatic be able to stand up to that? Because Xavier just seemed like they knew this map inside out, upside down, back to front. It was, you know, they were completely dominant on it. And now they've just achieved nothing on it so far.
Yeah, it almost felt like for Fnatic leaving that in and for Xavier to be able to pick it, it kind of felt like it was a trap maybe for either team, or maybe both teams felt as though it was a trap. Fnatic thought, okay, if Xavier picked this, we're very, very prepared, and Xavier thought that if Fnatic leave it open, well, they've fallen into our trap, they've left it open, and now we're going to be able to steamroll them on it. At the moment, it seems to be working out for Fnatic, but I mean, where's things going wrong for Xavier? Is it even like a quantifiable thing, or is it just Fnatic have turned up today?
Well, Xavier started off so well on this map yesterday as well. I think they were 3-0 up, 4-0 up before we saw Mantis finally get around. But, you know, this is the complete opposite. You know, I think maybe Xavier might just be starting a bit slow. Like, I do believe they can pick up around here or there. But once again, I'm still going to say I think it's going to be a 2-0 to Fnatic, and, you know, it might be over pretty quickly.
I mean, in a matchup like this, is it acceptable for Xavier to be starting slow, or like is that basically they're done if they don't start off well, which they haven't? Admittedly, it could get that third round could get reset, things could change depending on the result of this League Ops issue. But if they don't start off well, which they haven't, I mean, is that kind of the writing on the wall?
I think so, especially if we look at the map pool going forward. I think if they don't have a strong showing on Coastline, which is by far and away their best map, then they're in trouble coming into Game 2, and if we even get there at Game 3, I don't think that they have the luxury of starting slow today.
So at the end of the day, though, for Xavier, this is not the be-all, end-all. Like, if they lose here, it's already been a good performance from Xavier. They've already impressed us. If they do drop to Fnatic, it's not like it's the end of the world. This is some good experience still for them nonetheless.
Yeah, they've definitely shown above and beyond what we expected from them coming into this tournament. Like, I must say that, you know, they haven't shown too much flashy stuff, like, once again, but it's definitely been a good performance overall.
It certainly has, and it's been a strong showing for them. It's been a steady showing for them. They should definitely go home proud if they, you know, do end up losing this. I don't think it will be the end-all of them. They're going to go back. They're still the #1 seed out of SEA. They still performed exceptionally well for their first international land. They just have to go home. They have to work out how they can not be caught out like this next time, how they can improve a little bit. As you said, it's a very staple showing from them. It's a very bland showing. Like, it's the tried and tested. They're not coming out with anything new. They're not coming out with anything innovative. They're just doing what works and pushing forward. If they can come up with some new strategies or something like that, I think Xavier will definitely be a very strong team moving forward.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't been a bad showing from Xavier here in their first tournament. Being able to beat Mantis in their quarterfinal match, very, very impressive stuff. Now going up against Fnatic at the moment. If you are just joining us, we are paused with some technical delays in the middle of Xavier and Fnatic waiting the resolution of that. But since we've got that time, we're going to just continue chatting about how the day has gone, how the weekend itself has actually gone here as well. As you can see the bracket on your screen and now it is, of course, Norengo, the ones that did go through to the grand final. They've also secured themselves a spot at Rio at the Global Finals for Pro League Season 8. We're waiting to see whether or not it's going to be Xavier or Fnatic again. But Norengo and Fnatic, the last representatives, could be potential for that to occur again here.
Absolutely, and Norengo, they haven't yet dropped a map all weekend. It's been a very strong showing by them. Particularly taking out Aerowolf was a challenge for them, and 2-0 is a great result. They're going to be very happy with themselves, and they're going to be feeling very confident moving forward to this afternoon.
What's so interesting is they were also second seed coming through from their region as well. So, you know, 2-0, it just shows the strength that Japan is coming out with, and you know, just how the players on this roster are really pulling it together. Well,
you look across that bracket and you sort of think about the seeding a little bit, and it did kind of end up being a little bit wonky. New Life were seed 1, Athletico were seed 1. Xavier, they were seed 1, but they did actually win their match. Sengoku were also seed 1, and in most cases, the second seed actually did end up winning their match. And so for a lot of reasons, everyone was kind of talking about how the seeding coming in from each region's league into the APAC finals was kind of swapped. And in a way, it worked out because every single region was swapped. So it didn't really necessarily change the matchups all that much, but it was just a little bit odd that it turned out that way.
Yeah, certainly. And at the end of the day, as you said, it didn't really affect anything if you're looking at it from a historical standpoint, because you know, the number 1s and the number 2s still all came up against each other, as all the traditional number 1s were in the number 2 seed. So I think ultimately it didn't change a lot leading into the weekend. We're discussing the implications before it, but ultimately it hasn't really changed anything.
Yeah, and we can see here Xavier are getting a lot of discussion from their coach. They're telling them exactly what's up and what they need to do differently. So maybe, you know, this is one of those things where we talk about it might even benefit Xavier here, the fact that the momentum that Fnatic were building up has been broken.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to update everyone on how things have played out over in Japan, both teams have agreed to a rehost of that previous round. So the third round of the map is going to be replayed. Does that kind of alter things a little bit here for Fnatic? Because they were the ones that won that round, correct?
Yeah, they did it, you know, rather handily. Of course, it looked like healthcare had frozen, which, you know, is of course unfortunate. But, you know, I still reckon Fnatic are going to win the round anyway. Like they just look dominant in it, unless we're going to see a massive change up there from Xavier.
Yeah, I really don't think we're going to see too much of an outcome difference. Maybe Xavier have used this time effectively and come up with something that can counter Fnatic, but ultimately I think we're going to see the same outcome. It might be a little bit harder for Fnatic, but at the end of the day, I don't think it will change the round outcome.
Yeah, well, I want to touch on that a little bit more because you guys obviously just mentioned that this sort of reset, it's a bit of a reset to the momentum there for Fnatic as well. How much of a momentum-based game is Rainbow Six?
It can be exceptionally snowbally, but that all comes down to mental fortitude, right? The snowball within Siege from round to round to round is all mental fortitude. If you don't let yourself get affected by that mental gameplay, then the momentum is sort of non-existent moving into it.
Yeah, I want to say that you really feel like, you know, that momentum can pick up really quickly, but it can also, you know, immediately stop just like that. Like there's so many things that it can run into and, you know, completely change the whole team's mentality and tilt off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Fnatic, obviously a team that's very, very experienced, we wouldn't expect necessarily that this kind of mentality issue should really be a problem for them because they've kind of been there, they've done it all, they've seen it all, been there, done that, won that, and that's kind of just Fnatic in a nutshell.
Yeah, it really is. So Fnatic aren't going to be too upset by this pause at all. I don't think it'll affect their momentum at all leading into this. I think the question is whether or not Xavier will be able to use this to reset themselves, because Xavier, their first large international tournament, is their really first time of being tested too. We don't know if their mental fortitude is strong enough to be able to handle a beating like this.
Yeah, exactly. And even this is kind of going to throw Xavier off a little bit. Like, obviously, this, in a sense, has kind of worked out in their favor because they were the team that was kind of on the downward trend, at least in this matchup. They've been able to reset. We're kind of almost going from square one. Kind of almost, it feels like restarting the map, just Fnatic have a 2-round advantage, which obviously is not ideal. But even still, for the guys on Xavier, I think it's a better scenario than if they just continually got pounded and pounded and pounded there by Fnatic. So they need to change things up. They need to figure things out. You were talking about how Fnatic just kind of seem to have come into this matchup on something else. They seem to be much more strong than Xavier is at the current moment. But what can Xavier kind of do to actually get back into this matchup? Is it a case of trying to figure out a way to shut down Fnatic, or do they need to play a little bit more passive, play a little bit more back, and allow Fnatic to get a little bit more control and then just try and take a little bit of an easier fight? I don't know. What's the problem here, and what's the solution for Xavier?
Well, I think it really comes down to Xavier needs to start roaming as a team, right? We're seeing very individual plays from them there. One person downstairs at a time, he dies, the next person goes downstairs. It almost just seems like they're leading themselves into slaughter for Fnatic one at a time. It's almost like lemmings in a regard like that. Like they need to sort of work as a team, roam as a team from the get-go, and work together to try and refrag themselves and stop them getting isolated the way that Fnatic is.
See, I think they just need to, you know, not be passive. I think they need to be very aggressive. Like, it's really not the way that Xavier play, though, and, you know, we didn't really see much of them getting aggressive yesterday, except on attack. So I think, you know, when the half switches, we're going to see a completely different Xavier, but, you know, if they get to that point with it being a 5-0, that's, you know, it's probably all over Red Rover at that point.
Alrighty guys, I have some good news for you. Looks like the game is just about to get underway, so we should be jumping in very, very quickly, just having some quick looks at the stage there, which is based on Ikusa, the old Battles and Wars in Japan. I know you guys talked about that just briefly before. Quite interesting the way that the stage does look over there in Japan. If you're interested in that, you can go look it all up over online and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, looking at this next round, it's pretty critical for Xavier, would you say, to potentially have a good chance in this map. If Xavier goes down here again, momentum is right back in the favor of Fnatic. Are they done if they lose this next round?
Well, there's another map that they got. Like, you know, we said Coastline's their best map. They looked the best on it yesterday. Yeah, for sure. But Consulate could just play completely differently. Like, we don't know just yet.
Alrighty, looks like the game is ready to get underway, so I'm going to leave it to you boys. Have fun with this one.
Thank you very much. We are getting back into the third round again, going to be replayed. And we'll have to see where they're going to go. I'm going to presume probably another kitchen.
I think they have to play the exact same style, exact same operators.
Operators still? Yep, okay.
I believe that's the case for replayed rounds.
Yep, so that would be how they're going to go. And so far, I think you are correct. So, seeing a kitchen again, I think we're going to see a very similar setup. Again, they're not doing anything particularly innovative, so I think we're going to see a very standard setup here out of Xavier moving forward, and Fnatic are going to have an idea of how to push this. They're going to know exactly what they want to do after that break.
Yeah, I like what we can see here with Hajime setting up over in the service entrance. Going to put a mirror on that wall where he's just made a hole, I would believe. Make sure that, you know, his team can maintain aggressive control of that lobby and make sure that they don't really get pinched, cause Fnatic to walk into their crosshairs. But as for these operator lineups, like, we're not seeing too many aggressive picks. Like maybe the Jaeger, maybe the Ela, maybe the Alibi, but like, the way they've been playing those have not been the case.
Yeah, no, I think their aggression is not in their picks, it's in their play style. So I think their picks can be played just as passively as they can aggressively. So I don't think it's going to change up to too much, as we are going to see Fnatic here just start to drone out, see what they can find, see what they can see of the setup, and put a plan together accordingly to what they want to do.
Yeah, well, Fnatic just droning out, doing the stock standard stuff early on the round. It looks like they might be getting ready for a very aggressive and quick push on into the bomb site here. Here come the Kappa Towers, here come the fires and the smokes. Rizraz with Diffuser on board is going to situate himself inside as Hajime is going to push up and deny the plant before Neo can trade him straight on back. Lusty with his own, and then Healthcare straight back onto Magnet, leaving us at 3-on-3. Plant is going down, and Producer's looking right at him. He finally sees him and gets the plant before it's confirmed, leaving us with Xavier with the man advantage. Healthcare's going to continue that, leaving it all up to Lusty. Very low HP with still 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, a very aggressive fight. He manages to hit the Prisma, so then I don't know exactly where he is. He's getting aggressive right now. Producer Boom going to take out Lusty, and the aggression from Fnatic does not pay off, as we see Xavier here come out with a convincing round.
Yeah, I'd say that was more of Fnatic not winning the round than Xavier winning that round,
yes.
Isn't it? Like, it was Fnatic, you know, they wanted to do something different, catch their opponents off guard, and that's what Xavier's strength is. The passive play style, make them do something and react perfectly to it. And, you know, Fnatic definitely tossing that round out the window. Yeah,
100%. I think Xavier reacted to that situation very perfectly. You know, there was no hesitation for it. They saw Capital bolts are out, the Flame bolts are out. They know what they're doing. They're going for a plant, guys. Let's all react to this. It's in the service entrance. You saw it. Both the operators upstairs came downstairs to try and deal with it. We had someone deny the first plant. He did have to trade out his life. The second person denied the second plant. He traded out his life. But at the end of the day, that is successful for the defenders. If they're stopping the plant, all the utility has been used. There was nothing left in the tank for Fnatic.
Yeah, well, here we go. We're going to see Fnatic switch over to a Finker.
Yeah, this is something that they've enjoyed pretty much, you know, just themselves coming out of this.
Well, we did see Xavier do it yesterday as well, so I suppose these are the two teams that we've really seen play Finker at this level, but it does seem like a very strange pick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's not something you'd see very often, but Dokkaebi, Finker, Zofia, IQ, a very, very strong lineup out of Fnatic, and not necessarily the most standard of picks with Finker and IQ.
Yeah, for sure. So Bars bomb site is where Xavier are going to try and hold on to. I got the Maestro, no alibi this time, and we've got the Bandit instead of the Ella. So there's the difference in operators on this bomb site. It is interesting to see a Bandit on this bomb site. Like
it is. It's not the most useful operator on this bomb site. Like what are you denying the wall into the courtyard? But again, how
that's better left open.
Yeah, but you never see that being used. So what's the Bandit being picked for here? What are those batteries going to deny?
Maybe they're just taking him for the gun and for the C4. That's the kind of stuff we've been seeing from Xavier, isn't it? They are more of taking those comfort picks rather than, you know, thinking about the overarching strategy of what they're going to do, which, you know, it really shouldn't be working, but we saw it work fine against Mantis.
Yeah, it did really work fine with Mantis, but Magna puts a couple of shots through the window and says, hey, that's a random Lycolis, and manages to pick him up there before he can even react. So that's the Jaeger being taken off the board. And but again, we see that's an isolated roamer.
Yeah, 1 minute down, and he's just gotten caught doing really nothing, and he's lost his life for it. Rizraz has taken some damage, but, you know, that's not worth the trade back at all.
No, it's really not. You don't lose a life for just a tad of damage. It's not really what you want. But Fnatic in the driver's seat again, as healthcare is going to be taken really low. Get that man to a hospital. And maybe he gets him back up. Neophyte going to get the kill credit finally, though. And that leaves us in a 3 versus 5.
Yeah, Hajime pushing up exactly where Lycolis was taken on down earlier. He could be in for a flank. As we see the Finker boost come on out. That Claymore's going to get taken on down. They're still not aware of him, but that's the phone call was coming on out.
Yep, they'd be aware of him now. Magnet anyway going to be holding this angle, so if he does pop out, he could be in trouble. But again, pushing his way around safe. He's going to run into someone very shortly here. Manages to lose the gunfight, though. Magnet picking up the kill credit for that. He goes down to about 75 HP. That Finker boost giving him a nice shield to use.
Yeah, so there we go. Just Red Sun and Producer Boom in a 2-on-5. We have seen a few of these come out this weekend, but you know, I'm not really feeling it right now for Xavier. Once again, Fnatic starting that snowball once again. We're going to see Rizraz take the fight and take Red Sun's head off. Producer Boom 1v5, and Lusty with the spear, 308. It's going to finish him back off, putting us at a 3-1 game.
Yeah, certainly very strong showing from Fnatic, but we saw Xavier there miss some shots that probably should have been landed as well. So I think that Fnatic have capitalized on the mistakes of Xavier at an individual level very well so far.
Yeah, that's for sure, and we're still seeing Xavier taking those one-on-one gunfights.
Yeah, and it's something that we said needs to change. They need to stop playing as 5 individuals, and they need to start playing as a team, as a unit. They need to take, you know, when we see Fnatic push, we're seeing Fnatic, they locate someone and then they push them from 2 different directions or 3 different directions. They create a crossfire that the one person there cannot stand. And
even if they do take a one-on-one gunfight, like we saw with Magna onto the mirror of Hajime just then, like they were very aware of the mirror's position. Like they're going into this one-on-one gunfight with the information, which is, you know, just as good as having the 2-on-1 advantage.
Exactly. They know exactly where they are, and they can get the pre-fire for the example. We're going to see a Glaz get 6-picked to a Buck. I don't think that's really a surprise. I'm pretty sure Xavier would have expected that Glaz to get 6-picked out as well. But now we're going to see Bars again here out of Xavier.
Yeah, Xavier, they just need to play more together on those roam once again. Like, you can't be in a 5-on-3 and then suddenly say, well, you know, we've really done nothing on the roam, boys. Like, they really need to start being effective on it, or
stop roaming.
Yeah, just stop roaming.
Yeah, if you can't be effective on your objectives, you need to change what your objectives are. And if the roam is how they want to find their advantages, it's not working, then they 100% need to change what they are doing. They need to either change out who is roaming, they need to change out how they are roaming, or they need to just stop roaming altogether.
5 seconds to go.
Well, into this final round of the half, Xavier have managed to find one, but once again, we do want to say that it was more of a Fnatic loss rather than a Xavier win. Of course, they're the same thing, but you know, if you think about it in context, it's a bit different, isn't it? Yeah,
it really is, and it shows the difference between the teams. If Xavier if their only round win is a gift from Fnatic, is that true? That's still just quite demoralizing. Like,
I don't want to say it like that. Like, saying it like that sounds like Xavier getting absolutely smacked. Like, they are getting smacked, but they are showing some signs of life, I feel.
Ooh, Riz, I've not seen that one come out before.
Parkour.
Yeah, manages to get his way over to the ruins, and he's going to have a very nice angle until he falls down. I don't think he wanted to do that, but either way, he didn't find anyone on his parkouring escapades, and he's going to make his way over. Magnet takes control of Aquarium, puts down a Claymore, and then starts moving around. They are, of course, attacking the bars here again. So, and they've got a mirror sitting behind here. Like Collis, he's got the shield on his back because he's got like 2 to 3 people shooting him in the back right now.
I love this setup. You know, it can be rather strong trying to hold things off, but like Collis, once again, he's solo. Where's his backup?
He's got Hajime in the corner of the room.
So, has he?
Yep.
Oh, I see. Yep, behind the couch there.
Yep. So Hajime and Lycolis roaming together. This is a good adaptation from them. This is the positive signs of change we want to see. But Fnatic are going to be aware of this, as Aces is very aware that someone might be on his left, and he just keeps peeking it.
He's taking this peek nice and slow. I think they're very aware of the positions. They're going to move together if Fnatic is healthcare. Is going to find Rizraz to start things off there. Lusty's going to find Hajime before Red Sun straight back onto Neofighter. Looks like Lycolis is still going to stay in this position. Sends the pre-fire out, but Magnet's going to find Producer Boom. Looks like he went for a bit of a run out behind him.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out, as now we're left in a 3 versus 3 Ace. Magnet's been taken very low by that as well. Ace has taken a fair bit of damage, and Lycolis just seems to have been forgotten up the top floor there, and they've rotated around and said, all right, we're not going to be able to clear this out. Let's do something else.
Well, 50 seconds on the clock. Fnatic, they seem to have stalled out quite a bit, but I think they just need to finally decide what direction they're going to take, and it looks like they're going to try and chuck right on in through the antechamber here.
Yeah, coming in through this north side onto the bars. Ace is putting some pre-fires across, not really finding anything. The wall finally gets open for him by Lusty, but there is someone behind that bar. So, you know, this isn't out by Fnatic just yet, but this clock is ticking down. Only 20 seconds left as we come into it. And the smoke nades come out now, and they're going to force Fnatic's hand. Fnatic are going to have to run through it. Lycolis comes up with the kill onto Aces, and now he's outside. He's stuck here. He has to pre-fire, but Lusty's going to take him out. Red Sun finds Fnatic, though. That leaves it in a 1 versus 2. So all up to Lusty's. He's down healthcare. Red Sun's behind him. 5 seconds left. He pops up, puts the shotgun shot in. Doesn't find it, but finally, Lusty pops his head up. Red Sun takes it off. And Xavier come out with a 2nd round win here.
Yeah, that was very close there for Xavier. They almost lost that round to Lusty finding the shots. But unfortunately, shotgun at that range, it really should win.
Yeah, it really should. You only need the 1 shot from that range, and sure enough, he connects it. As, you know, just playing whack-a-mole with each other as they just kept popping up at the other time as the other one went down.
Well, we are at the half now, and Xavier have managed to salvage something from this. 3-2 now. This is not what we were really expecting after those first couple of rounds, was it, Flea?
No, it really wasn't, and it seems like Xavier have taken the time that was given to them by the technical difficulties and the rehost to be able to actually come up with an answer to Fnatic here. And we'll have to see them coming onto their attack round. We said that they look a lot more aggressive on their attack round, and we said that they need to be more aggressive against this Fnatic squad. And now here's their chance to shine, and here's their chance to potentially take the map off of Fnatic.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like we're going to see Rizraz pick up the alibi as well. It seems like these two squads have got very similar operator selections, don't they?
It really does, doesn't it? It's very interesting to say. 2 completely different playstyles, but very similar operators leading into those different playstyles. It's great to see such versatility within the operators being able to play differently.
Yeah, and Xavier, a very aggressive operator selection here, so I think this is where we're going to see them shine a bit. Like, I think their attack is a lot better, you know, especially with the playstyle they take. I feel like the defensive playstyle only really works against some kind of teams, and Fnatic, you know, they were that kind of team in 2 of those 5 rounds, weren't they?
Yeah, well, arguably, you know, they were that team in 4 out of 6. So, like, it comes down to Fnatic. You could argue that they could have ended that half 4-1,
Yeah.
But unfortunately, 3-2 is how they ended out. And Xavier now, their chance to shine. The Glaz, this is the first time we've seen a Glaz today. So we'll have to see how well he goes.
Yeah, might I point out, we did see, some success from Xavier when they started, having those roamers work together.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was realistically what we said they needed to do. And they sort of worked it out and finally got around to actually working as a team. And it seems to have come out in their benefit.
Oh, that's an Echo drone detected outside. Healthcare's going to take that one on down. So that's going to be one less for Aces to operate with.
Absolutely it is. And, scouting for that intel cost him his drone. Not exactly what you want, but, it is what it is. So they'll have to work with that now. Great pickup either way by Healthcare.
Yeah, Red Sun going to take control of the kitchen entrance as well. He's got some castle barricades to contest with. He's going to chuck down a bit of a cheeky claymore, just not quite getting the angle he wants.
Yeah, going to have to pick it up, put it back down again. Finally, there we go. He manages to get what he wants. Lycola's coming in through this aquarium entrance right now.
Big QE peek in there.
Yep, they are, of course, having to take Bart here, and they've almost run through half the round and achieved essentially nothing in the way of meaningful ground yet.
It looks like those Habana charges are going to get shot right off from the player inside Paul. I can't quite see who that one is. I believe it was Magna on the Legion.
Yeah, I think that's who it is as well. But there is also one behind that wall. Is that a soft wall or is that reinforced? I can't quite... It is reinforced, sorry. So, yeah, he won't be able to put the shots through the wall. But with one on his right and potentially one peeking out in front of him, he's not really going to be able to take this shot. Hajime gets shot in the side. He manages to find Magnet. That's Legion being taken off the board. Producer Boom has also found the head of Lusty. And all of a sudden, we're in a 5v2 as Hajime picks up Rizraz there. Now they have control of the entire top floor. Neofighter gets shot from above. Like Colas has pushed his way in, so is Healthcare. The last one's behind it, and a flawless round by Xavier on this attack.
Yeah, I told you their attack would look a lot better, and let me tell you, that was a bit of a steamroll right there. They had a bit of a romp.
They certainly did. They found the fights they wanted, and they managed to isolate individual members of Fnatic. So what Fnatic did to them in the early stages of Xavier's defense, Xavier just did to them outright, and they did it just as well, which is a very scary thing for Fnatic coming into this.
Yeah, to kick things off on this map, we were like, oh, Fnatic are completely destroying Xavier, but Xavier, they've tied up the scoreline, haven't they? 3 apiece, and that last round is looking like they might be in a position to walk away with the rest of this half and the the W.
Yeah, well, it's as you like to say, Monkey, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and 3-3 right now. We've got ourselves a matchup, and we've got ourselves a cap can.
Yeah, it's definitely something we like to see coming on through. It seems like Fnatic, since their boot camp in Japan, have changed up a bit of slight little things in their playstyle, haven't they?
Yeah, it really has, and it's great to see when those boot camps happen, to see what changes come out of them. And, any adaptation a team makes during a boot camp is, in my opinion, a successful boot camp, because it means that they've learnt something on their boot camp.
Yeah, well, as for another operator selection that they've come up with that is also a bit interesting is the Doc. It's probably a few sneaky peekies, I think.
Yeah, it could potentially be a spawn peek. I don't think we're going to see it just yet by Neofighter. We'll probably see one of the safer spawn peeks, like maybe out a window that they can't really find much from unless someone just blindly runs out, but they can't also get shot out of as well.
It's probably more so he can take fights at range, sitting at the back of the theater or something. Going to try and pop some heads with the MP5.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see if there was a shield on either Mira or Rizraz, but Producer Boom going to open up the window into the red bar.
Although I feel Echo would have been a better selection rather than the Doc if that's the case. So, I'll have to wait and see. Yeah,
well, there's no plant denial at all. I mean, they have, what, two C4s? So, what are they going to do with that? That's all their plant denial.
Well, I think, if that's what you're going to do, just don't let them get inside.
Oh, that's it. The long-range fights can certainly stop that, but Hajime is going to walk his way straight in through downstairs. Of course, it isn't bomb site, but he's going to be able to drone for himself and really pushing individually here out of Xavier.
Yeah, well, we saw them they do start off individually, but when they go for those pushes on their opponents, it's all together. It's always a concentrated effort, and, it's been so effective so far.
Yeah, it really has. And one thing that I've noted about their attack plays as well is they might enter through different sides of the map and then, slowly push things together. But when they're droning, if they find a roamer or someone that is holding a certain spot, they'll actually wait and they won't progress any further until someone else comes along and helps them as well. So they won't take these one-on-one fights as attackers as they did in their defense. So it'd be very interesting to see if they run into any stiff resistance out of Fnatic's roamers, as Rizraz takes a ton of damage.
Yeah, geez, he is lit up. His health bar is flashed, and looks like it might have been from below, because we see the one on cameras right here, but the shots just aren't landing for Hajime. Still just not landing.
He's shooting into a metal bar, so you can't get him right now. He knows he's there. He does not have any nades anymore, so he's just going to ping him out and hope that someone's going to come for him. Oh, there's an Ash below, manages to damage Aces. It was Aces on the phone, and Hajime finally there picks up the kill. That's a good use of IQ right now, taking out any use of the Evil Eyes.
Yeah, Magnet is going to find the first defensive kill here for Fnatic. That's like Hollis going down to a headshot from the Capcan. Healthcare is going to go and retrieve that diffuser, however, but those smokes will be fading very fast. Hajime with another one onto Neo Fighter as the plant is going to be started.
Yep, and Neo, of course, has not had the greatest run so far. Magnet does take out Healthcare. That's the defuse being stopped. Magnet is, though, sitting alone in VIP. And if they push through, he's going to be in a fair bit of trouble because he is all on his own.
Yeah, he's going to have to ace clutch this one right now, as it is against 3 members, so it's a lot more doable. But no, Hajime, that's a swift and clean headshot. Is going to put the lead on the board for the ties.
Yeah, Xavier, they're now, what, 4-3 up? They've done tremendously right now. This attack side is looking just as strong as Fnatic's was. And they could be in a little bit of trouble moving forward.
All right, so there is going to be a bit of a tactical pause coming out for Fnatic, and you feel like they are going to need this one, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that this is a good spot to use their attack pause. They've now lost 3 in a row leading into it after their dominating performance. So this is when, you know, Coach Dizzle sits down, tells them what they need to do, tells them what he's seeing and what he's not seeing out of the team as well, just as importantly. You know, be able to focus them and put their way onto the path of victory. It's
been such a roller coaster at the start of this Coastline map, hasn't it? As Fnatic absolutely demolishing Xavier, who looked like they were still, you know, waking up, getting out of bed. But, you know, after that, you know, little issue, they've come swinging out the gates. Yeah, certainly. That tactical pause for them seems to have done wonders. Not the tactical pause, sorry, the technical pause for them seem to have done wonders. It's like they've subbed in a whole new Xavier roster right now. They're just playing completely differently. Yeah, they definitely are. And their attacks, as I said, they've looked so good on attack. It's been, you know, hard to see any faults in the way that they work together in that regards. Definitely it is. And having a quick look at back to how they, you know, they dealt with Mantis. They won, what, all their attack rounds except for 2. So I think it's quite a dominating performance for them on their attack. As you said, they're definitely stronger on attack than they are defense. So whether Fnatic can curb some of this ultimate aggression coming out of them is just going to be very hard to see. Yeah, definitely. That is, of course, rather interesting. Although, how are we feeling? Do we still think Fnatic might have the W in the bag here, or is this... I think Fnatic losing... If Fnatic does lose Coastline, either way, this is going to be a very close map. But if they do lose Coastline, it's not the end of the world, because they still have, you know, Consulate and Villa coming up, which arguably I think they could potentially be stronger on Villa than Xavier, and they're definitely going to be stronger on Consulate, in my opinion. So I think even if they do drop this map, Fnatic probably shouldn't be too worried. I just think Fnatic should definitely be worried about, you know, the strength and attack we're seeing here from Xavier. We're going to see Producer Boom and a Monty for this one. Yeah, Monty, this is something we've seen quite, you know, heavy over the course of the weekend, but not something we've seen on Coastline yet. Yeah, of course, when we saw this map yesterday, it was banned out between Mantis and Xavier, so this Monty says 2 things to me. Number 1, they're probably either going to try and walk in through the B-site wall, through the B-side door, sorry, and plant right in front of it, but the Monty trying to hold it off. Or they're going to plant behind the bomb here with the Monty answering as an additional wall. But from Aquarium? Yes, from Aquarium. But Fnatic have opened the floor right below that bomb. So Xavier are going to have to take control of the bar below. Yeah, if either of those shots they want to do, Xavier are going to have to do that, because, you know, it's very easy for someone to sit in the very corner of Hookah as well, and, you know, you can't really push in and plant behind a Monty there if you've got to worry about both sides. Yeah, it is true. So Xavier are going to have to spend some resources in taking control of the first floor. Plus the stairs, of course. You can always see that rotate hole in from there. You know, someone can just sit on the stairs and shoot your Monty. So yeah, absolutely. So
there's a couple of things that Xavier needs to do for this Monty to be successful. So we're going to have to see how they're going to transpire. Very well put.
This does take a bit of a look. So interesting to see that we've got the wall from Billiards into Aquarium has been opened up, but it's been left with the supporting beams there as well. So you can't just walk on through that one, but you know you can get shot right through it.
Yeah, and they've opened it up because the mirror's going up now because they've seen the Monty. They know where he's pushing from, and you know holding the mirrors is actually something we're seeing more and more recently. The mirrors aren't going down at the start of the round. They're using it when they know where they're attacking from. Healthcare takes a bit of damage from above. He doesn't manage to land anything back down, and he's just going to rotate back around. See what he can find, which at the moment is an awful lot of nothing.
An awful lot of nothing indeed, as we've only got aces actually on the bomb site, as Lycolis is going to find Rizraz over just outside Aquarium. I think he might have been getting a bit too aggressive there.
Yeah, definitely he did. And, you know, Lycolis making him pay for it. The smoke plant's going down. The diffuser currently isn't picked up by anything of Xavier. Magnet finds Lycolis, though, puts an end to that. That's the Hibana taken off the board. Healthcare finds Lassie in reply. Magnet putting a couple of pre-fires down, not really picking up anything. Magnet finds Hajime as Hajime takes out Neophyter in response. So we are left in a 2 versus 3. Healthcare taken really low. He's downed and taken out by the ITA of Aces. Producer Boom really low as well. Going to try and push these stairs, but Magnet makes him punish, as I don't know why he turned to try and deal with it, but that's a missed shot there by Red Sun. He really should have had that. Magnet was dead for rights.
Yeah, 30 seconds on the clock, so that's plenty of time for Red Sun to work with in this situation, but he's going to give his position away with the alibi. But that mirror's not landing the shots until it finally does. Tries to go for the last stand, but Aces is there with the shotgun, and finally Fnatic can put a defensive round on the board.
Yep, and they certainly have, and that was explosive.
It really felt like Xavier were in charge of that round, and they just got too aggressive with the Monty. What was he doing?
I'm not sure. He pushed up unnecessarily. He had someone to his left, so he had to rotate his shield around to make sure he didn't get shot by the door, but he knew Magnet was right in front of him. He was staring at Magnet for a good 10 seconds, yet he decided to purposely put his back to Magnet.
They had the bomb site and Billiards. They could have planted, like, even what the Glaz getting so aggressive into Hookah as well. It was, I suppose we're seeing that aggressiveness come out from Xavier, but to their detriment this time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're right there. They had control of one of the bomb sites. They should have honestly just planted and then let, you know, Fnatic come to them. They had the Monty. They had that wall there. They had Glaz on the flank. He didn't have to get aggressive at that point. They could have just focused on the plant and then gone from there.
Well, you know what they say. If you plant it, they will come. And Xavier didn't get a chance to put that theory to the test. They are going to 6-pick their buck over to an Ashe. Now that's a move that gets my thumbs up.
Certainly is. As a QE Ashe main, you must be very happy.
Oh, come on.
How's your hitbox?
But that being said, on this bomb site, I think a buck would be a lot better than an Ashe. I just like the Ashe, if you're wondering what the context is here. But buck would be better utility for this bomb site. Mulch up that floor, get those angles down on those defenders. But maybe it's just, you know, Producer Boom has been the one that's flexing all over different operators. So, you know, I think it's more of what he's feeling at that point. Yeah,
very deep operator pool here by Producer Boom. And I do agree with you. I would have think a buck would be better, but that's only if they manage to take control of Hookah and Billiards. You know, so
is this Magnet going for a bit of a run out?
Yes, I think it might be. There we go. He's standing up. He times it out, but nothing comes from it. He gets detected, but he goes back in. The castle barricade goes up anyway.
Crisp.
Good work there by the Fnatic squad.
Good teamwork, in fact. That was, yeah, very crisp. I like it.
Yeah, they certainly had those timings down, didn't they? But going back to, you know, what we were saying before, the buck would only be better if they managed to take control of this top floor. And there's a lot of utility and a lot of resources put by the Fnatic squad into defending top floor.
But in a round like this, if you want to win it, I'd have to say you have to take this top floor. Like, I'm sure there are some cases where that is not the case, but 9 times out of 10, yes, you need to take control of this top floor and, you know, bring the utility that's going to help you with that when you take control of it. Like, there's no point acting like you're not going to get control of it, so you're just going for a different operator.
Yeah, well, unless that is your strat to ignore it, but it doesn't look like it is, as they're going to make their way in. They are putting a lot of, you know, pressure into trying to deal with this. Healthcare being very, very aware of his surroundings.
That's a bit sneaky. He's looking through the bullet holes as well, trying to find some banana, but nothing's showing just yet.
Yep, not going to find that potassium-filled person. But you know, he could potentially find something. Rizraz is actually out in the hallway. I don't believe Fnatic is holding it directly anymore. I think they're holding it, you know, more out of the way, as they do seem to have dropped out. A minute 30 has passed now as we move into the second phase of the round. And these goo mines upstairs are going to be really annoying, as Producer Boom finds the first kill, manages to remove the head of Lusty there, and that is Alibi taken off the board.
Yeah, just holding the rotate from the roof of Coastline can be so strong, can't it?
It certainly can, as you just can cut rotations left, right, and center, make sure no one can move all around the map. But, Rizraz finds Red Sun, but Hajime trades him straight back out here, as Aces is looking for something on this Echo Drone. Magnet takes out Producer Boom, though. And that is from above. He does not quite manage to land it. And Hajime has used this IQ so well so far.
Yeah, he definitely has, as there's 45 seconds on the clock. Xavier are going to have to start getting into this bomb. So I'm thinking about planting, but Aces, what a shot. He's going to tell Lycolas to sit back down. Looks like his healthcare's turned up to the batting plate, however.
Yep, Healthcare now. He needs to do something. He's getting shot through the wall as well. Ace is barely missing the shots. Healthcare thinking about peeking his way around. He waits till the pre-fires comes out of Aces, and he sees the peaks coming up. This is quick crouch spam coming out of Aces. Yep, and so Healthcare cannot push it. He does manage to land one shot, but takes only a little bit of damage. But now they know exactly where he is. He sees his head. Healthcare turns around as Hajime takes out Neophyter. Now they're getting really aggressive on the Aces. Healthcare gets the pistol kill on him, but falls to the side as Magnet will get taken out by Healthcare, and Xavier going to match point.
Yeah, beautiful stuff there from Xavier. Looked like it was Fnatic large and in charge, but the aggressive push from the IQ and from the Glaz in tandem worked really well. You really have to think, Shotgun underneath that bar
should be so powerful.
Yeah, but Aces, he just got pushed off it, didn't he?
He certainly did. He got rushed. There was too many people there to deal with. Magnet could have potentially curbed that aggression if he was on the flank earlier. Unfortunately, he only managed to get the scraps as they were jumping back over the bar, but as it was, you know, he just got pushed out of the bar. Maybe Aces was feeling a lot more comfortable than what he needed to be, and he should have called Magnet over earlier. But, well, you know.
So are you feeling overtime?
I'm feeling overtime.
I reckon we might see Xavier pull off a 6-4 win here.
You reckon it's 6-4?
Yeah, well, you know, out of the defensive rounds, Fnatic have only managed to pick up one, and we're heading on to the last one here.
Certainly, but it's not over just yet. I'm going to say overtime because I'm a big fan of overtime. I want it to go the full 13 rounds because I've enjoyed this map so far.
Yeah, it has definitely been exciting. A bit of a roller coaster. Xavier taking a while to wake up and get started, as we've said. But, you know, it's definitely been competitive. And Xavier looking like they might be the ones to win this out at this point.
Yeah, definitely being very close. And this is the third time we've seen bars come out of Fnatic on the defense. And they're yet to pick up a single win on it.
Yeah, they definitely were close last round.
Yeah, they were much closer than what they were as the first round. But I feel like coming back to this, maybe they should go to something different. Like, Hookah is the only site that they have had any success on defense so far. So what do they do? Potentially, maybe they could go down to Kitchen. They haven't tried to hold that yet.
Yeah. Have to agree with you on that one, Chief.
Oh, that's my roommate.
As we are into the action phase for the for the final round in regulation. 5-4 advantage over to Xavier at this point.
Certainly is, and Fnatic now, they're gonna, you know, put these people upstairs again. They're not gonna go for that spawn peak as we saw Magnet do last round because no fruit was born from it, but we'll have to see what they do. This time it's not as aggressive. The castle going down on the aquarium door rather than on the outside door. So, not really going for as much control as what they went this time, but trying to consolidate what power they have on the map.
Yeah, I think Fnatic are going to play this one a lot more passive, it feels. They're not going to be trying to get as aggressive. Like we did see Lusty get picked off trying to rotate from the skylight. So I think they're going to play not as aggressive this time. Look, we even see Lusty on the mirror this time, so he's not going to be roaming around as that alibi.
No, he's really not. We saw Hajime come through the penthouse window there, and we're seeing Lycolas push through into Aquarium. Hajime taking full control of VIP here. Red Sun down below. He's got a Rizraz down below, next to him, sorry, but a castle barricade in between it as well. Ace is spotting him out on that Yokai drone 100%. They know where he is. And this individual play from Xavier before they meet up as a team is very interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's a very thorough sweep of the map, isn't it? I'm not quite sure if Rizraz is in the... Oh, no, he is in the kitchen. As Neophyte is actually going to go down to Red Sun right there. Well, it could have been Hajime, as Hajime is going to be in support on the stairs.
Yep, no, it was by Red Sun. Red Sun was actually, disorientated by that yokai drone, but still managed to get the down. Hajime was there to see if he can get a rotate. But now they know that he has been revived. They know there's two-person there, but Magna coming in from the side, picks up the kill credit from Red Sun. And now that is just an isolated member taken off the board. A beautiful flank by Fnatic.
Yeah, finally Fnatic reacting, but he's planting.
And look at that, Healthcare manages to pick him out. They've got the wall open next to him. Magna gets a beautiful long-range shot as Hajime trades out on the Neophyte. Hajime has had to piece out of that stairwell. They need to deal with Magna as Healthcare has just given himself over to slaughter. But Hajime picks up two with Producer Boom picking up another one. Aces shuts down that flank, but Producer Boom from the side here on the stairwell. It's a one-on-one monkey.
Yeah, this has been a very close round. Producer Boom is going to go up above. Wonder if Ace is going to expect this. He is, in fact! Aces manages to salvage it for Fnatic, and we are going to overtime.
What an end to that round. That was all kinds of explosives, and Aces comes out with the quick flick from above.
Oof. I believe he would have had the info from his team on that one. He was very swift there. I think Producer Boom, had the read on the situation, but Aces just too swift for him.
That was a beautiful play from Aces there, and I actually have to give it to Xavier. I really thought that was the right tactical play. I didn't think Aces was going to have the info to be able to get it. Maybe he heard him, maybe there was a call out from a drone or something, but Aces reacts beautifully to it, manages to connect the shot mid-air, and, pulls him down.
My favourite part about that round, how we saw the whole thing from the top-down perspective. It just
showed the flanks and the intricacy of that play. It was great.
The teamwork and the communication that you could tell was going on between the players. Yeah, it was really good to see. Fortunately, we couldn't see any of those nutty flicks, however, and the such, but we are in overtime, ladies and gentlemen, and, my prediction's wrong, which is, once again, isn't it? It's been a lot this weekend. Yeah,
it hasn't been your weekend, has it? But, I'll forgive you. You can have one tournament. Normally, it's me that's wrong, but,
truth.
I'll take the wins where I can. So, we're going to see Fnatic on defense first, which means they're going to have to defend twice.
Which doesn't bode well for them.
Doesn't bode well for them because, as we know, Xavier have been so powerful on the attacks.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like we're seeing a bit of an operator change up, though. We're going to see Producer Boom on the Ying, which is the first time we've really seen Ying at all.
Yeah, we saw a couple of Yings earlier on in the day, the top half of the bracket playing it. We haven't seen the bottom half pick it up at all yet, I don't believe, this weekend. So Devon Cthulhu have casted a little bit of Ying, but we have yet to see it, so we'll have to see what Producer Boom can bring out.
Yeah, but what are the bomb site that Fnatic are going for? Hookah, of course. This is where they had the most success during regulation defense, so no surprise to see it to be the first one to come out here.
No, not at all. It is definitely what they want to do, as they, they have managed to successfully defend it, and with the exception of Bar in that last round, which was dead close, is the only one they've had any real success defending. So I think this is the right choice by them, and if they can pick up the win here, that's going to be good for them leading into this second round of OT.
Yeah, for sure. So, Producer Boom, so in a very interesting spot. You don't normally see people in this area of the map, do you?
No, you don't see anyone take down that run out. I don't know exactly what he was planning on doing. Maybe he's just rotating around or something. Maybe he spawned in the wrong spot, or, where differently to where he wanted to spawn. But they're finding one on cams there.
And it's got the bead there.
Yep, they know exactly where one is, and we'll have to see what they do with this information. Hajime pushing in through the penthouse and the theater, making his way in. Just puts a couple of shots through and doesn't find anything. As we were talking about before, taking these random shots where you do just shoot through the wall is always a good thing to do, because you never know when you're going to pick up a kill like a Ray did yesterday. But Healthcare is going to open up the frags onto Aces. That's the man who clutched it out last round to be taken off the board.
Yeah, it's going to give also another avenue here for Xavier to take control of this top floor. Neophyte looks like the only one who's hanging around at the moment. Oh, sorry, Lusty's in there as well. But, yeah, they look like they could be in a pretty tough position as we see Xavier all start to group up and converge on the Fnatic members.
Yep, Hajime going to be droning out for Lycolis, so Lycolis can put down some X-Kyroses, open up some little peak holes for them to see what they can do. But we're seeing the Xavier squad really push in together now as they're starting to consolidate their resources. Producer Boom putting in 2 Yings as Hajime picks up the kill in the Neophyte. The plant is going down. We hear an asphyxiation bolt go out. Nothing coming of it just yet. as Healthcare is backing out as the plant has gone down.
Yeah, well, that's going to be 2 quick frags there for Fnatic as Rizraz and Magnet are going to get up on there. However, I don't think the rest of Xavier are going to be exposing themselves so easily. In fact, we're going to see Red Sun win the duel onto Magnet there. Lusty, close range against the Glaz. He's going to find it, and the second there onto the Capitao. So it's all up to Producer Boom. He's stuck down below. He's going to make his way up Cool Vibes stairs, and surely they're aware thanks to the sound of the barbed wire. He's going to push it up, and Lusty, a triple in that one. Oh, baby. He salvaged that round for Fnatic and put themselves up on a match point.
Certainly he did. What a play from Lusty there. And, you know, the ping was down from Xavier. They knew exactly where he was, yet he just walked straight out in the open. He wasn't even ADS'd ready for him, but he had the ping, knew exactly where he was. What was
Rizraz saying there? He looked annoyed, I reckon. I think he was saying that was your fault, Lusty, or something. I don't know.
The plant, maybe he was annoyed that the plant actually managed to go down in amongst all that, but I don't think he can be annoyed by the outcome. Maybe they're annoyed about how they got there at the outcome, but I don't think they can be annoyed at the outcome. They managed to get the round win.
Yeah, you get the round win. You have to be happy with that. Like a round win's a round win is a round win.
Yeah, exactly. And they're on match point now, threatening to take this map off Xavier.
Plus, this is not the favoured side for Xavier. They really struggled here, especially to start things off with. Is this the where they crumble?
Potentially. I mean, we saw some really good results from them on the bar. I expect that's for where they're going to go. They could go Kitchen, as that was their only other successful defense. But as we said, that was more Fnatic losing it than them winning it. And no, they're going to go Kitchen.
Interesting. Maybe they believe they can change things up here.
Yeah, I don't really know what Fnatic are going to do. They're definitely not going to try and go for another quick plant again. I think they're going to definitely learn from that mistake. So, no, they're going to do their tried and true tested, pushing their way through. So there's going to be a fight for Xavier right here.
Yeah, for sure. So, into potentially the final round. Lusty once again with that thinker.
Yeah.
Want to hear what you think about that?
Look, your bad puns aside, I think
that wasn't a pun. What pun?
I think that it's definitely a pick that Lusty and Fnatic in general have been favoring, and for being almost a unique pick in amongst these two teams. So I'd be really interested to have a chat to the Fnatic players after this event is over and just work out, you know, just see why they like bringing that thinker so much.
Yeah, well, potentially final round here. One more round and it could be over. It could be final round.
Yeah, or we could be going to the 13th round. I'd like to go to the 13th hour here, but we're going to be seeing Xavier just droning out. There's a stronghold here in the bars. Now they know where it is, and I think, honestly, they should just rotate around right here. There's 3 people sitting in that bar.
Yeah, well, the bar is such a strong anchorage point when you are trying to attack that kitchen. You know, your whole attack can really revolve around that angle, and otherwise you're going to have to go through the service entrance instead. Magnet, he's taking a lot of damage there.
Yeah, he doesn't do any damage in response, though. Ace's drone, though, is going to try and spot out whoever he was in a fight with. I'm not quite sure who it is. Rizraz has managed to make his way into Hookah, but Producer Boom below has to get himself into a safe spot so he can reset his phone as Dokkaebi has put out the calls.
Yeah, we're going to see that HP boost come on through as well, but no one on Fnatic really capitalizing on it.
No, not at all. I think they did it just to try and scare off Xavier, as Xavier was starting to put aggression down onto them. Like, Hollis finds Ace's drone there, but now they know exactly where he is. And we'll have to see how Fnatic are going to deal with putting him out. And it does look like Magnet's the one to try and take it on, even though he is really low health, as he is just getting pressured from multiple directions.
I swear he just saw a player in the corner there as well. Can't quite tell who it is, but one is very, very close in that Sunrise bar. And we see the shots come on out, but Lusty's going to find healthcare, giving the man advantage to Fnatic to start things off in this one.
Absolutely, and Red Sun's taking a fair bit of damage as well, as another drone comes into to find Lycolis. Rizraz finally takes him out now, as Neophyte is taking out Hajime, and Fnatic could potentially take this here.
Yeah, they've really started to snowball things here. Producer Boom's going down as well, leaving it in up to Red Sun 1v5.
Yeah, he's got his phone being called as well. He needs to find somewhere where he can reset it right now. He's going to get it off, but Rizraz is going to drone him out. They know exactly where he is at this point, and I'm not sure Rizraz's drone was noticed. He throws out a goon mine, but he's not going to be able to find it. Needs to be very careful of his rear right now, but Magnet from the courtyard, going to find it out. Fnatic take an exceptionally hard-fought match.
Yeah, very, very difficult match there in the end for Fnatic. It's such a different storyline. The tables have turned quite quickly from when I last spoke with you guys after what was the third round at the time. Fnatic to end up closing that one out 7-5. And yeah, it looked like they were going to close it out easily, but then they had to kind of work for it a little bit.
Yeah, so I think it's more of Fnatic, you know, taking it easy. When they get back from the break, they're like, "Yeah, boys, we got this in the bag," and they take their foot off the pedal a bit, and you know, Xavier, give them an inch and they'll take a mile, and they almost pulled it off.
Yeah, certainly they did. And I think Xavier's attacks, as you said, just look so much more stronger than what their defenses are. And I think that really cost them the overtime. Not picking up that attack win for Xavier was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely a difficult time there for Xavier, but Fnatic, you got to kind of give it to them, that mental fortitude to be able to stop that little bit of a comeback, because it really did seem as though Xavier were going to be able to come back. Remember, this is their map choice. They're quite famed now for their play on coastline here in the APAC region, and they couldn't quite get it done. So that's actually a bit of a, not necessarily a nail in the coffin just yet for Xavier, but it seems to be getting that way.
Yeah, they're very, very close to being pushed out of here, and they're going to have their fight. They're really going to have to fight for their lives on console as the next map. And Fnatic was so strong on console yesterday that I think that Xavier have to have something prepared for it.
Yeah, we really don't want to talk about foregone conclusions, though, especially with, you know, that's what we were saying at our last break here with Elfish. We were like, yeah, it's all over for Xavier, but then they really showed some fight. But, you know, I'd have to agree with you. I'm kind of sitting on that side that, yeah, this is looking like Xavier might not have the chops to stand up on Consulate.
So what's the difference then there between Fnatic and Xavier? Is it just the fact that Fnatic was able to clutch out a couple of the rounds that potentially could have gone the way of Xavier, and we could have maybe even seen a whole completely different map had it been the case that Xavier won one or two of those rounds? Or was it a fairly standard, straightforward victory for Fnatic, even despite the scoreline being relatively close?
I think it comes down to just the way that the two teams played. Fnatic played much more as a unit, as a cohesive team, and you know, their time of playing together definitely shows they're a lot more comfortable. And I think the round that we saw from the top down really shows the strength of Fnatic. The flanks, the call-outs that would have had to come around from that, and the way that they were, you know, consistently biting at each other from opposite angles of the map, managing to get massive flanks on people so they didn't know where they had to look.
Yeah, I'd have to say that I still think it is Fnatic did take their foot off the pedal a bit and gave some confidence to Xavier there, and I think that's might have been why we saw this close of a scoreline.
Yeah, absolutely. Now looking toward the next map, like we've said, it is going to be Consulate, the map choice of Fnatic. There was some questions about how their map pool was going to work out in this particular veto, but it seems like you guys were both fairly confident that Consulate should go the way of Fnatic, and you, Flea, specifically so were the one, I think, to actually say that they should really be taking that second map, no questions about it.
Yeah, I think that